Welcome back. Jamie is back with us. We're going to take a look at some of this morning's newspapers, Jamie. As we know, it is January the 3rd. That means the transfer window is open. Transfer season. The Sun have got an interesting story on Marcus Rashford, who we know is going to dominate the January window.
Yeah, he's going to be a big name this month, no doubt about it. And on paper, in the papers, on paper, this is a transfer that sort of makes sense. A potential swap deal, dramatic swap deal, shock swap deal, call it what you want, between Victor Osimhen and Marcus Rashford. Victor Osimhen out of favour at Napoli. He's on loan at Galatasaray at the moment. Antonio Conte doesn't want him at Napoli. Marcus Rashford, we know his situation at Manchester United as well. I've spoken about it a lot. So on paper, it would make sense for the two of them just to do a swap. It's obviously not as easy to just do that. But Marcus Rashford has rejected bids from Saudi Arabia because he wants to win back his England place. So a move to another big European league, Serie A, obviously, would give him the chance to do that and a platform to do that. And Antonio Conte is keen on Marcus Rashford. So we'll see whether that might be something that happens. But I think you're going to get a lot of this over the course of January, these sort of wild fantasy sort of transfer deals, which they might be able to pull off, but they might not. But on paper,
Deals are very rare.
Very hard to do. But, you know, who knows? We'll see. Yeah. Watch this space.
OK, well, we're going red.
I don't know. We'll see. He's a player for Manchester United. We'll see. He have to work. He have to represent his club, and he loves his club. But I have to make choices. Already spoke about how I make the choices. So it is what it is. So let's continue. Let's see the next game. And like I said, I have to make a selection. The first thing I think is hard. I don't remember to say clearly that I want new players. What I said is that sometimes the profile for this system is different. And the players came here with a different idea how to play. So I don't remember to say that so clearly that I want new players. What I said is that we need to improve recruitment. When we are targeting players, we need to have sure that they will cope with the demands. Sometimes you have to bet a little bit. And what I said also is that we have to improve our academy to bring young kids that feels the club in the right way. And also with that rules, we are able to do some business and to have money to invest in the team. Connecting that with the second part of the question, our idea is always to keep the best players and the players that we build for this club. But we know the position that the club is in the moment. We will see, but I'm very happy and I really like our players, especially the guys from the academy.
Just on that then, Ruben, can you say that Kobbie Mainoo, you want him to stay? Is he a United player that you want to keep, therefore?
Yeah, well, my players are always my favourites. So I really love my players. I want to keep my players, especially the talented ones. So, like I said, it's a special moment in this club. It's a hard moment, we'll see. But, of course, I'm really happy with Kobbie. He's improving. And also with the Gardner. Really important, not just for them, but for all the players. Your life as a footballer has cycles and moments, and sometimes in 1 week your life can change. And you can see Altay against Tottenham. Everybody was pointing the finger for Altay, and I understand that. And today he was our hero. Also, Joshua a few weeks ago had a small problem with our fans, and today, every time he's going on the pitch, you feel that the support from the fans. And then he has the last penalty. So. The life is like that, and you have to continue humble, to work every day. Your time will come, and so it's really important for them, not just for them, but for his teammates.
OK, let's bring you up to speed with the latest transfer news now. And according to Sky in Italy, another Serie A club have joined AC Milan in the race to sign Marcus Rashford, and that is Cesc Fabregas's Como. The former Arsenal and Chelsea midfielder is the manager and part owner of the club, and they're keen on bringing Rashford to Italy. It's understood that Como would have no issues in financing a deal for Rashford, whose agent travelled to Italy for talks with AC Milan over a potential loan move earlier this week.
We are constantly receiving new information surrounding Marcus Rashford. Now, we have an update. The latest is that Manchester United are aware that Rashford's brother and agent are in Milan talking to AC. A number of clubs are expected to approach United formally over a potential deal. United are understood to be discussing internally whether a straight loan or a loan with an option obligation is the best course of action. If indeed they allow him to leave, that is. A permanent departure is likely to be assessed in the summer, with United aiming to raise his market value before then. All options are still open, including Rashford staying at United beyond deadline day.
Now, could the Zlatan Ibrahimovic effect help his old teammate Marcus Rashford move from Manchester United to AC Milan? Rashford's representatives have spoken to clubs in Italy and Spain over a potential move away from Old Trafford. Former Milan striker Ibrahimovic is currently working at the club in an advisory role. Zlatan played for 2 seasons alongside Rashford as Manchester United won the EFL Cup and Europa League in 2017. And Ibra said this: Rashford, I know him very well. I played with him when he was young. He did great things with Manchester and is one of their players. Everyone wants to play for AC Milan, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Difficult operation. We haven't spoken to him yet. Let's see.
Right, lots of talk about Marcus Rashford's future in this window, and West Ham are the latest club to show an interest in the Manchester United forward. There is an acceptance that it would be an extremely difficult deal to do given Rashford's wages, and the growing feeling is that Rashford is likely to move to a European club if United do sanction a move. That said, West Ham have asked to be kept updated with any developments. It is believed that those 2 Italian clubs stay in the running, but Rashford's camp will listen to offers from Spain today. AC Milan, they've made it clear to Rashford's agent that he'd have a leading role in the team. Serie A side Como have also expressed an interest and would have no issues meeting the terms of a loan with a percentage of his salary.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about this player. I get the feeling for quite some time. He always seems to feature in transfer windows, and it feels like this is the window where potentially he'll move. Randall Kolo Muani, 26-year-old PSG striker. He's been linked with Manchester United, and he's very much still a player of interest with regards to Manchester United. However, our information is there's been no further contact since their initial inquiry. Now, we know that doesn't mean it's off the table. Could they decide to look at it in the summer if he was still to be available? PSG are open to the move and would like to sell Muani in this transfer window if possible. He's only made 2 Ligue 1 starts this season, 8 substitute appearances. He's not started a Champions League game. Game time has been hard to come by, and you get the feeling that his time in Paris is coming to an end. He has a contract until 2028 at PSG, so they hold the cards with regards to any potential sale or loan. But what I think is really interesting is the fact that since that initial inquiry, Manchester United haven't gone back to the negotiating table to say, hang on, let's have another conversation here, which may lead you to think that someone else in the Premier League, Michael, could be interested?
Yeah, Tottenham, on my understanding, is still interested in the forwards. He could play across the whole front 3. Spurs looking for reinforcements there. Of course, they've signed Anthony Kinski, and he made a fantastic debut against Liverpool. They've got the goalie they want. People are asking me whether they're going to get a defender in. I think the priority is a forward. And Muani, yes, there is interest.
I think the thing is you never know. We've seen it recently happen with Sancho. We've seen it happen with Sterling. So it might not be off the cards. Obviously, Rashford is a big Manchester United fan, growing up like that boyhood club. So would he want to go to maybe like an Arsenal? We're here in West Ham. I don't know, but I think there is a possibility there. It's not out of the question. But like Flex said, it's up to the financial side of things as well. Will the Man United hierarchy want him to go to a rival? Or if the finances are right, can he go?
That Arsenal one's really interesting, though. Yeah. With what's happened to Jesus.
You could just imagine
Arsenal last minute, dying hours of transfer deadline day. Rashford, do you want to get here? 6 months loan, no obligation. I tell you what, I wouldn't 100% discount that, but I'd just, on a personal, I'd just like to think that Rashford would just want to clean break, get out of the Premier League.
Right, let's bring you this. AC Milan are expected to formally approach Manchester United over the signing of forward Marcus Rashford. Milan advisor and Rashford's former teammate Zlatan Ibrahimovic has spoken publicly about wanting to speak to Rashford about a move. Rashford's camp have spoken to a number of European clubs to explore the conditions of a deal. As it stands, it's believed United's preference remains a straight loan if they are to allow him to leave. Rashford was once again left out of the matchday squad for Sunday's FA Cup third-round tie at Arsenal. Head coach Ruben Amorim saying, "I don't know, we will see," when asked if Rashford had played his final game for the club. While United accept they will have to pay a substantial portion of Rashford's wages, they will look into incentivising the structure to ensure the deal works for them. So I think if anything's clear here, something, whether he stays or whether he goes, whether it's on loan or whether it's permanent, something needs to be sorted. Everything seems to be up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, I think both player and club need that clarity. And I felt when Ruben Amorim come in, I think that was one of our questions. We were saying, can he get the best out of Marcus Rashford? Because I think we all know the qualities that he's got. He showed it when he scored, was it 30 plus one season? So he can do it. He can do it in the Premier League. But it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think being sort of an academy product, the scrutiny, the expectation is very much on him all the time. We're very much watching everything that he does. So you feel if it's best for him and for the club, then maybe it is time for a new challenge.
Marcus Rashford's brother and agent have travelled to Italy to hold talks with AC Milan's executives. It's understood Milan want to sign him on loan with an option to buy. I mean, Dan, obviously Milan seem to be the club that are most vocal about their interest in Marcus Rashford, but they're not the only club after him, are they?
Yeah, it feels like Marcus Rashford could be the name of the window so far, couldn't it? I feel like we'll be talking about him quite a lot in this window, but AC Milan seem to be the ones who are making that contact with his agent, as you mentioned there, Dwayne. But in terms of other clubs who are also interested in Marcus Rashford, we're looking at, first of all, the Champions League finalists of last in Borussia Dortmund, and then also Serie A giants Juventus. Two very interesting other teams, and we can talk about AC Milan in a second. But when you look at Juventus, for example, Thiago Motta is their manager. Very young team, an average age of 24 years old. How would Marcus Rashford fit into a team that's quite young, developing? Borussia Dortmund, of course, finalists last year. We saw Jadon Sancho go on loan there last year, had quite a profitable year. It was also good for United in keeping his market value as well. But AC Milan look now like they're the ones really making an effort to get him on loan with a potential option to buy as well.
Sam, is Milan a good fit for Marcus Rashford?
I think in terms of the pathway, it's worked for them in the last few seasons. We've seen Loftus-Cheek, Tomori go out there as well. And Serie A in general has been good for players that haven't really found their feet in the Premier League, with Lookman now African Player of the Year. We've seen Tammy Abraham, who's now at AC Milan as well. I think it will just be a good move for him, a place where he can find his confidence. The only thing I would say is that their most exciting player is a player that plays in his position. That's Rafael Leao. He's played 23 times this season. He's been in and out of the team in terms of playing consistently. He's only got 6 goals this season, but his last performance against Inter Milan in the Super Cup was incredible. So I think it will add to the competition for AC Milan. They're still 8th at the moment. They're probably going to be wanting to play Champions League football, and that would be a good challenge for him.
Right, let's bring you this. AC Milan are expected to formally approach Manchester United over the signing of forward Marcus Rashford. Milan advisor and Rashford's former teammate Zlatan Ibrahimovic has spoken publicly about wanting to speak to Rashford about a move. Rashford's camp have spoken to a number of European clubs to explore the conditions of a deal. As it stands, it's believed United's preference remains a straight loan if they are to allow him to leave. Rashford was once again left out of the matchday squad for Sunday's FA Cup third-round tie at Arsenal. Head coach Ruben Amorim saying, "I don't know, we will see," when asked if Rashford had played his final game for the club. While United accept they will have to pay a substantial portion of Rashford's wages, they will look into incentivising the structure to ensure the deal works for them. So I think if anything's clear here, something, whether he stays or whether he goes, whether it's on loan or whether it's permanent, something needs to be sorted. Everything seems to be up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, I think both player and club need that clarity. And I felt when Ruben Amorim come in, I think that was one of our questions. We were saying, can he get the best out of Marcus Rashford? Because I think we all know the qualities that he's got. He showed it when he scored, was it 30 plus one season? So he can do it. He can do it in the Premier League. But it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think being sort of an academy product, the scrutiny, the expectation is very much on him all the time. We're very much watching everything that he does. So you feel if it's best for him and for the club, then maybe it is time for a new challenge.
Deal for them to do simply because of the wages that are on offer. However, if you look at the relationship between Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund, it's quite good. Because last season, you'll remember, they all organised the deal whereby Jadon Sancho went from Old Trafford to Borussia Dortmund. And look how well that worked out for Sancho. And in the end, look how well that worked out for United and, of course, for Borussia Dortmund as well. As far as Rashford's camp is concerned, we do know what's been happening. All of the communication so far has been done via them. It hasn't really been club to club yet. And they have been speaking to clubs in Italy, to clubs in Spain as well. As far as United are concerned, if they are to allow this guy to leave, they would prefer a straight loan. Get him playing football, get him to raise his market value, and then they can reassess Marcus Rashford's future in the summer. And while United accept that any kind of loan deal will involve them paying a huge portion of Marcus Rashford's wages, we'll talk about this a bit later on, but there are certain ways you can do these kind of deals where you can incentivise the wages, incentivise the performances, whereby the club who's allowing someone like Marcus Rashford to leave can still get good money for him.
James, does Rashford need to go abroad? Is that going to be better for him than staying here, playing for another Premier League club?
I think you'd have to say yes, really. It feels like it's a player that just needs rejuvenation in his life. He needs a fresh start. He needs a fresh focus. A lot of attention here in the UK, as we know, by the British media. We're talking about him here. He's filled the back pages for weeks now, it feels like, certainly since he decided to do that interview with Henry Winter. The opportunity to go abroad seems like that's a right fit. AC Milan, as Dharmesh mentioned originally, are interested in him, want to do a deal for him and have an opportunity to sign him. They've got an opportunity to sign one UK or Albanian player in this window. Now, that sounds really strange, but that's all down to non-EU players and Serie A regulations that they have. They can only make a certain amount of signings. So per season, normally they can sign 3 non-EU players plus 1 player from Britain or Albania. Now, that varies depending on what clubs have, how many non-EU players they've got in the squad already. So for AC Milan, for example, they made 2 signings in the summer. That was all they could make. They've only got this one little signing available to them, which is a British player. Hence why Marcus Rashford is one of the names mentioned. And it seems like that would be a good fit for him.
So if it is Marcus Rashford to Milan, where does Manchester United, Anthony, is he leaving?
So we told you last week that clubs from Spain and Greece had approached Manchester United over the potential signing of Anthony. We think it would probably be a loan deal at this stage. Well, I can tell you that the clubs that we've been told now are Real Betis and Olympiacos, who have made those inquiries. Now, in fairness to Anthony, he's actually been featuring in nearly all of Ruben Amorim's squad, but he still hasn't started a Premier League game under Ruben Amorim. But not just that, he hadn't started a Premier League game under Erik ten Hag this season. So it seemed like Manchester United were edging towards, let's see if we can do some sort of deal to raise the market value. Clearly, United are not going to get anywhere near, if and when they decide to sell him permanently, the 80-odd million pounds that they spent on him to Ajax, 2 summers ago. That simply isn't going to happen. But it's clear now that they will consider offers for Anthony. As I said, the most likely idea would be a loan. And it's interesting because Real Betis have recently sold one of their wingers, Hassan Diao, to Como, which is why there might be a space and Anthony could be the one to fill it.
James, I want to talk Aston Villa. What are they?
I think that might have been like a Google Translate. They're interested in Pereira.
Got it. We've been saying quite a bit that Tottenham and Manchester United are looking for a striker. Are they in danger, James, of both missing out?
Look, there's a little bit of danger when they're looking at a player and potentially another club comes in. And we're talking about this man, Randall Kolo Muani, again, been the talk of the transfer window. pretty much daily his name seems to be mentioned, but that's because moving parts to this are happening daily. Now, we understand Juventus are making a maximum effort possible to get the player on loan this season, and that's because they want to jumpstart those attempts by the likes of Tottenham, AC Milan and Manchester United in their attempts to get this player. Now, again, just talking about this player, PSG signed him for close to 90 million euros only 18 months ago. He's fallen out of favour, wasn't in the matchday squad for the last 3 matches. They're resigned to letting him go, whether this window or the summer, but it seems like the race is hotting up for his signature. Tottenham are not out of this race yet at all. They are interested in the player, and a forward is their priority this window, but competition is hotting up for him.
OK, that's Spurs.
Hi there, this is Transfer Talk. 2 weeks to go, and Manchester City are making moves. 3 potential signings this week, and it looks like they may also add a midfielder to their ranks. We will tell you who that could be shortly. Also this hour, here's a deal for Marcus Rashford to leave Manchester United in doubt. We've got the latest on him and a new left-back who could be coming into Old Trafford. Let's start with Marcus Rashford then, shall we? Because we're hearing now that it's possible that he might not leave Manchester United. It's looking increasingly unlikely that he would leave Manchester United, apparently. There's still a chance, obviously, because Dortmund are in with him. AC Milan are still lurking. But he may not leave. He may stay with United this window. Is this to do with the fact, largely, to do with his wages and how much people are willing to pay?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Because clubs, even big clubs like Milan or Dortmund, would find it difficult to cover all of his wages. So there'd have to be an element of compromise there. If you look at Dortmund as well, there's so much uncertainty there at the moment. I commentated on their game on Friday. When they went to Frankfurt, it was another poor display. They were beaten again. They're way off the pace in terms of the title, but also off the pace in terms of Champions League spots and maybe even European spots. So it means the coach, Nuri Sahin, is under massive pressure. So you've got a situation where, OK, you might bring Marcus Rashford in, but he might have a totally new coach to work with, but not entirely new, because what if it's Erik ten Hag? So
what if it is Erik ten Hag? I mean, how does that affect?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they've had clashes in the past, but he played him a lot of times. You know, they have worked together a lot. He knows the quality that he can bring. But as we've said before, Rashford to Dortmund brings a doubt as well over Jamie Gittins, because he's probably been their best player this season. Where does he play? Off the left. So that adds another layer of curiosity to it as well.
OK, I mean, I should say we are hearing that it is becoming increasingly difficult if United are to move Marcus Rashford on this January, rather than becoming increasingly unlikely. You know, what this Ruben Amorim team needs going forward, if they want to play the football that he wants to show, is left wing back. Would you say that was a number one priority? Is it anything else?
Absolutely. Of course, Manchester United need a vast amount of positions to be filled with the specific profile that Ruben Amorim wants, which is going to take time. But I don't think there'll be too many Manchester United fans who would be disappointed to see them start at left wing back. Absolutely. I think Ahmad has showed great versatility at being able to play right wing back. We'd probably want him closer towards the goal as a right 10, and then Mazraoui has come in there and isn't a natural fit. But Diogo Dalot in particular at left wing back has struggled with that transition. He's an out-and-out right back, but is capable to fill in at left back. But at left wing back, he's just really, really struggling. And as Kev mentioned there about some of the attributes that Dorgu possesses in terms of that athleticism and that physicality, and he's at, 6'1", it's very important to have somebody who's got a big engine who can do both facets of the game at a high intensity. Manchester United do not have enough players who can play at high intensity for the duration of games. So I think it's a good place to start. But again, at 20 years of age, like Kev said, it's going to take time. But Manchester United need to be shopping around for those types of players with potential. They're not in a position to be bringing in world-class stars right now. Manchester United are 13th in the Premier League. So definitely the type of profile, and I think one that Manchester United fans could look at and say, OK, I can see why they're going after that player, but Can't get too excited, Matt.
Yeah.
Got to relax.
Okay, calm. A bit of other news for you regarding Manchester United, because they may actually need to sell before they can spend significant money. And the Napoli sporting director, Giovanni Manna, has confirmed his interest in Alejandro Garnacho. He has described him as an important player. Very interesting comments indeed. We should just say that we are just hearing that Garnacho himself has not actively been looking to leave the club, but he is obviously someone who appeals to Mr. Manna. Can we see this developing into a firm bid?
I think the key could be that he appeals to Mr. Conte, I think is the key, because he's somebody that obviously knows him from when he's been in the Premier League, knows what he could bring to Napoli. And Napoli are in a really interesting place right now because they won away at Atalanta at the weekend. The 3 points clear at the top of Serie A. They played the game more than Inter. But this is where they're looking to maybe bring in 1 or 2 players to take them over the top and give them that opportunity to really push. So, you know, Kvaratskhelia is gone. He's gone to Paris Saint-Germain. They've suddenly got a big wedge burning a hole in their pocket. So it's a deal I think they could do. Scott McTominay has made that move very, very successfully. Scored a goal in that win at Atalanta. He's been magnificent. I imagine he'd have positive things to say to Garnacho about a potential move to Naples.
OK, well, we will keep an eye on that one. That is for sure. Just a couple of other lines regarding Manchester United, and they will consider loan offers for Tyrell Malacia in this window. And Real Betis are close to agreeing a deal to sign the winger Anthony on loan. We've got loads more on the way. Arsenal